Okay, Michigan game in the books. State tips off, couple hours. So we want to look back, we want to look forward, we want to make it nice, convenient for everybody. So that's where David gets on the case with the roundup. Now, are you going to be able to do this? I know you're very, very sensitive right now.
Oh, yeah, I can do this.
Okay,
sure.
You sounded like Nancy Kerrigan earlier.
Well, I was upset. I'm
still
upset.
Terrifying.
Let's
Go
start
ahead.
with the best team in the state, Michigan State. So LSU relies on second chance points and owning the paint. They have scored 40 points in the paint 17 times this year. By the way, that's second only to Duke. How does MSU find a way to control the paint against LSU tonight?
Same way we normally do. You got to guard people, man. I mean, David, it's one of those things. Look, if Xavier Tillman gets in foul trouble, we're dead tonight. They got to have Xavier. He's the linchpin to the defense. I don't know that you're going to limit them to a level you'll find great. 40 points in the paint, that's a little much for me. If we can keep them to 30, I'd be plenty happy. Plenty.
That's the talk radio idiots.
Tom, that's not nice. My
All
God.
Right. To the worst team in the state, Michigan.
Oh, stop.
Can Michigan ever win a national title with Xavier Simpson?
No. No, I understand what people are going to say. Well, they got to the game last year. Yeah, and they got beat up. And you played nobody. The point is, unless Simpson becomes an offensive weapon who is a threat to shoot, you're never going to win playing 4-on-5. Not unless Beilein's got 4 NBA guys he's going to roll out there. So my easy answer to that is no. They've got to upgrade at the point guard spot, specifically on offense. They need a perimeter threat because it just kills their spacing. Kills them. Hey!
Well, you mentioned NBA guys, so let me stick right here with Michigan. Charles Matthews said that he wanted to return this year for a title. They didn't win anything. Didn't win a Big Ten title. Didn't win anything. So, some experts believe that he hurt his draft stock this season. So should he return or just go?
Well,
Beilein believes he's leaving.
I'll put it to you like this. I wouldn't draft him. What is he? I mean, he's a good defender, but he's not a three-point shooter. Got a little mid-range game. Just things the NBA doesn't value. So I kind of view him like Nick Ward. Nick Ward's skill set, NBA doesn't value it. You want to leave now? Leave. You want to leave later? Leave later. You're still going to be what you are, which is probably not a first-round pick.
I am downright hard.
Oh, bogey. My God.
Wow, Kyle. Even after last night's game, huh?
Jesus.
So Cassius Winston versus Tremont Waters tonight. This is going to be a really good matchup. Waters is a really strong defender. How can Winston get the best of Waters tonight?
8 million ball screens. It's the same recipe they used to beat up on Xavier Simpson, but the key is, look, and again, I always have to do the disclaimer. I am not saying Cassius is as good as this guy. I am saying stylistically. Cassius is like Chris Paul in that he negotiates the space on the floor. He finds the creases, he finds the cracks, he seemingly does it in slow motion, and the next thing you know, he's got 2 points. They are going to need to screen and rescreen a million times because Waters is a big-time defensive player. Double order!
So
You got to pull up. We got to get that audio. That was the day
Double
Siena.
onions.
Yeah, it's the school right near where I'm from in Loudonville. Siena beat Ohio State, and the same kid hit a couple of bombs, and he goes, onions! Double order! Onions! Sorry, just a memory.
I love Raftery. So John Beilein was an offensive savant when they hired him at Michigan. I don't know what happened to him, but has today's offensive schemes passed him a little bit?
I just think they need to tweak a few things. Some of the pieces are one, but I think, look, teams have kind of figured out what to do. You've got good players out there. You've got shooters out there. And ultimately, everyone has to evolve. Izzo's evolved. You got to evolve. And when Beilein was struggling defensively, he evolved and brought in Yaklich. And guess what? Now it's time to tinker again offensively. The only people who don't evolve are when you get 5 McDonald's All-Americans. Then you can roll the ball out there like Roy Williams and do no coaching.
So just a fun one real quick before I get back to Michigan State. So Wojo and Will Burchfield are out doing a video right now in front of the White House. They're covering Michigan State tonight.
Are they sober?
I'm not sure if they are, but some advice for those two as they do this video live right now.
Leave? Why would you do a video in front of the White House? Why not do a video in front of the stadium or something? I don't know. You're on a sports trip.
Wojo tweeted that he's in front of the White House where Michigan State will be there to visit the president later this year. Hey! Weird setup for those two, but that's what's going on.
You know what? Honestly, I'm just going to pretend it's not happening. I don't know what those two are doing. It's just the amount of alcohol. It's just, Will's a bigger partier than Wojo. Bob's a disgraceful party animal. Nah, whatever. Let them have their fun.
But Wojo tries to hang with Will and go drink for drink whenever they hang out.
Yeah, because that's what most well-adjusted 60-year-olds do. Try to hang with a 23-year-old fresh out of college party monster. It's a good sign for Bob. Yeah, Bob's the peak of health.
Come get drunk.
Oh, my God.
All right, on to Michigan State here. What is the X factor for Michigan State against LSU?
Xavier Tillman. Simple. Tillman is everything for them on defense. Everything. He allows them to switch. He allows them to not have Nick Ward on the floor and go smaller if they want because of how good he is as a defensive player. I think Xavier Tillman absolutely is that X factor. If they can get the Xavier Tillman that played in the Michigan game at Breslin, they'll win tonight, and I'm confident saying it. Dominate the glass, block shots, active defender, active switcher, and then a little bit of a rim runner. A little bit of a guy who can, really duck down and get you those easy points. Xavier Tillman has become arguably their second most important player because of the things he does that don't show up on the stat sheet.
What a shot! Are you serious?
I hate him so much.
So one more Michigan before I go back to Michigan State. So has the success of Michigan under Beilein gotten to the heads of the players a little bit? I'm seeing ego issues. I'm seeing too confident.
Listen. Mo Wagner had that kind of attitude. Trey Burke had that kind of attitude. They won a hell of a lot of games. I'm not going to all of a sudden come down on them because Brisdakis has that attitude, and they didn't. I would tell you I don't like it when players have that attitude. I don't need it. And none of the players I mentioned were good enough to have it. If Zion Williamson wants to start blowing kisses at the crowd, I'll tolerate it. Right? I just can't handle that type of player as a fan. But that's Beilein's problem. It's never been a problem before, so whatever. That's just the type of player he's got. Good for him. I choose to not enjoy that. Oh, my God. The worst sound effect ever.
I love that sound
It's like
effect.
a bad video game.
That's why it's so good.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
So we all know the controversy around LSU, and we know what they did last week. They played because they were inspired to prove to everyone that their coach wasn't the reason they were good. They were just good. So because it's now a week later, has that kind of died for them, or will that die for LSU a week later?
I think the time for them where it could have died would have been in a tight spot against Maryland, and you don't have your coach drawing it up. You don't have that moment. But it didn't, and they survived. I kind of just feel like they're here. They know they're good. They had a really good regular season. They had their blip on the radar in the SEC tourney when the news broke, and now, hey, they're loose as a goose. They got a shot at the Final Four. So, no, David, I think they're beyond it now.